here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
You can also watch us on Facebook Live on our Good Morning Clearwater Facebook page and on YouTube. Just search Tan Talk Radio Network.
Every morning we'll be talking about current events, sports.
Yay, sports!
News, entertainment, weather, and traffic. Have an opinion? You can call us.
That's right. Join us every weekday morning, 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Talking Sports and Knockout Radio is one of, if not the longest-running sports radio show in Tampa Bay, and heard every Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. From football to MMA and pizza to travel, we talk it all. Every Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m., we walk the walk and talk the talk. If you have a story you'd like us to cover, just go to knockoutradio.com and click the contact link and send us a suggestion. That's knockoutradio.com/talking sports.
The current economic times have been tough on many families in our area, and many are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your donations of clothing and canned goods can make a difference for a local family in need. Throughout the year, give from the heart so others can have a new start. This message from Campbell's Mercedes-Benz and BMW Repair, located at 1234th Street in St. Petersburg since 1966. They open Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. Visit online at campbellsmercedes.com.
Courtesy Kia Brandon. Once your trade. No matter the year, make, or model, we'll pay up to $3,000 over Kelley Blue Book value. Then take advantage of 0% APR up to 75 months on new Kias. That's over 6 years of no interest. Plus, enjoy 100% complete online car buying with ClickLane. Simple, fast, and transparent. Shop, get your trade value, pick your payment, sign online, and enjoy at-home delivery with Courtesy Kia Brandon. Online at brandonkia.com. Top 6 in the USA and Tampa Bay's premium Kia dealer.
Hi, this is Jay Leno. Hey, this is Ted Nugent. Hi, everybody. This is David Hobbs. Hi, this is Bob Varsho. Hey, this is Danny the Count Coker.
Hey, this is comedian, author, and most importantly, vintage race car driver Adam Carolla.
Hi, this is Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney.
I'm John Forrest.
Hey, this is Jack Roush.
And you're listening to Nostalgic Radio and Cars.
That's Nostalgic Radio and Cars with the most fascinating and legendary names in motorsports every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
All the caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned, because I have a bunch of that stuff on the show where you can find help and hope. And with us on the board today, we have the fabulous Avery.
How is everyone doing today?
Joyful and grateful. You guys?
Very good.
Very good. So my usual person that's sitting to the left of me is Lynn, my best friend and co-host and sidekick, not psychic. But Michelle's filling in for her this week. Lynn's going to take a little break. I think actually Lynn's taking a little break from me because I can be very irritating at times and very flippant. And sometimes under pressure or stress, say something that's maybe not so nice. And who do we do that to? The people that care about us the most. Wouldn't do that. If I say to somebody, I'm flippant, they go, what are you talking about? So sometimes you need to just put yourself in check and think about where you are and what you're doing. And this morning I was on Facebook, and they come back with all these memories. Mm-hmm. And there was this, I put this on Facebook, I don't know, like 5 years ago. And it says, hate has 4 letters, so does love. Enemies has 7 letters, so does friends. Lying has 5 letters, so does truth. Negative has 8, so does positive. Under has 5, so does above. Cry has 3 letters, so does joy. Anger has 5 letters, so does happy. Right has 5 letters, so does wrong. Hurt has 4 letters, so does heal. It means life is like a double-edged sword. So transform every negative side into an aura of positivity. We should choose the better side of life. Okay, because you know me, I'm always saying you have a choice. We all have a choice.
And every choice has a consequence.
So introduce yourself to our listeners, Michelle. A lot of them probably already know you.
Michelle Lowett, connecting professionals with the people they need to be connected with.
Yes, we're huge networkers over here.
Yeah.
I say I'm so happy to be in this Tampa Bay area where professionals really want to work together and make a difference and do the right thing. Because I travel to speak in other states. It's not like it is here. We're very lucky. And with us today, we have Robert McCauley. I kind of know him a little bit from Acuity Healthcare.
Yes.
And we're going to chat on the top of the show. And we have Tammy White with us from the Bobby White Foundation. I'm going to chat with you on the second half of the show, but thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yes. Glad you're here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Jill in Utah. We have Mila in Massachusetts.
Ooh.
And we have Christy in St. Pete. And like I always say, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners, whether you listen live on the show or on YouTube or on Facebook or on Apple iTunes or you listen to the podcast, whatever. I'm just here to help you on the journey with information and some hope and love.
How do they subscribe to your YouTube channel, Linda?
They go to Connecting Caregivers Radio at YouTube or Linda Burhands, either way, and just subscribe, because the more people that subscribe, the more opportunity that my information is out there.
Get all the good stuff.
I know. It's all about the numbers, though. Life is all about the numbers. But anyway, so Robert is the founder of Acuity Healthcare since 2012, so going up on 10 years.
Oh yeah, it's interesting and exciting to hit a decade of in business. I mean, as you know, most 90% of businesses fail the first year, and 90% of those businesses fail thereafter, and so quite an achievement.
Well, the thing is that when I posted this on Facebook, somebody said, "Oh, is it a home healthcare company?" I said, "No, it's not a home healthcare company." So explain to our listeners what Acuity is.
Yeah, Acuity Healthcare. So we work in the staffing and recruiting industry. So we work a lot with home healthcare. We work a lot with senior living. As you know, there's shortages of nurses, LPNs, CNAs. And so, we're helping to fight that battle. So that way our customers, our clients, the senior living facilities, the home health companies can have the staff they need to give the patients the care that they need.
So crucial right now.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on. I know, because so many of my friends are in this industry and they're like, we don't have enough help. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Where are we going to find them? Who's the good ones?
Yeah, no, it's difficult right now to find talent, and human capital advertising on places like Indeed or ZipRecruiter, it just doesn't work because there's such a demand. You really need to find, experts in the industry that know what they're doing, that have a local network, that know your area, and
that have already built relationships. You have relationships with people in the industry. I have relationships. That's what leads to it all.
Yeah.
And then you do good one time, and then you do good a second time, and then you're off.
Yeah. And we work with quite a few senior living facilities here in St. Petersburg, Bradenton. We work with a lot of the hospitals throughout the state. We work with a lot of nurses, LPNs, CNAs. And, it's just great because we help these organizations get the staff they need so that way they can function. And then at the end of the day, it's all about patient care. We're putting the professionals in place to provide the care to these people that just need it the most.
But COVID has changed everything.
COVID has the clinical and healthcare world upside down. And human capital, these huge contracts are being offered to nurses for COVID assignments. They're making, a ton of money. And then you have nurses that are staying loyal to their local hospitals and not getting that upside and that benefit. And, so I see a huge shift in human capital over the next 30 and 60 days in hospitals once they start telling people they have to take vaccines. And
so nurses. What's the conversation with that? I mean, that's very scary because it seems like our most vulnerable people are going to be without staff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand, people that feel like they need to take the vaccine, and I promote them getting the vaccine. And I understand, nurses that have been through this entire pandemic on the front line.
And you don't know it unless you're there.
Yeah, at bedside, seeing it firsthand, and they want to choose to not take the vaccine moving forward. And we talk to nurses every day that say, "Hey, I'm getting out of nursing." And we're talking to tons of nurses that are saying, hey, this is the deadline at my hospital. And so I'm going to have to find a new career than working in an acute care hospital, or I'm going to have to relocate. And so there is going to be a big shift in human capital. Who knows what direction the mandates are going to go in. I know they've pushed them hard for corporations to make the mandates. We're seeing, some hospitals do that. We're seeing others that aren't. And I think that's going to have a big effect on where this nursing human capital ends up.
I just saw a post on Facebook the other day from a friend of mine. So she's an RN and she's been working through all this COVID stuff. She goes, I'm done. I just want to go and do respite care maybe in a person's house.
Yeah.
it's too much. It's just, but it's very scary. So, Robert, what put you above everybody else in finding staffing, and how do you do that?
That's a great question. And so, we really target this local Florida market, right? It's where we've been working for 10 years. It's where we have the best database. And, we do all the normal things that any recruiting company would do, from, advertising on job boards and leveraging LinkedIn, networking, making cold calls. But our real competitive edge is that under our corporate umbrella, we have a digital marketing company. And we all know, like you're just talking about YouTube subscribers, digital marketing is really how you scale businesses. And it's all about search. And so we really leverage the power of, those Facebook and Instagram advertising for human capital, search engine marketing. We do huge email marketing as well as text marketing. And I'll tell you, healthcare professionals, they respond to text messages about 68% of the time. It's just a wonderful way to connect with them. And so we've got a lot of...
It's just what's happening.
Well, it's an easier way to communicate when you have patients and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And we're a technology-based recruiting firm, right? So we have a lot of systems that are automated. We have some artificial intelligence that's working in the background, making contacts with these nurses. So yeah, it's a great time to be in healthcare, helping when the pandemic and the need is so great.
It's got to be a little stressful though too.
Hey, listen, if anybody's been a business owner, right, a small or medium-sized business owner over these past 2 years, I think we all have a lot more gray hair than we had.
Yeah, or none.
Yeah, I don't care what color it turns as long as it stays on my head. It's been a stressful couple of years for any business owner, and healthcare,
and for all those people working in that healthcare industry.
It is. And, in our family, we've got healthcare workers. I mean, my mother's a nurse, my cousins and, my sister-in-law. And so, they have such huge hearts. They're such caring people, and they usually, have tough days because, listen, with patients, they don't feel good, right? They're not happy. And even if they're not mean people, a lot of times the nurse takes the brunt of that unhappiness. Yeah. And so you've got to have a big heart. You've got to be a special person to be a nurse. And, it's all those nurses out there that have been,
thank you,
battling and helping patients, through this tough pandemic. I mean, we couldn't do it without them.
Oh, could you imagine if you had to go in the hospital right now and there was a shortage of nurses? Well, I feel like freaked out.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, the hospitals are full.
Or you're staying in a hallway somewhere.
Yeah.
For days.
Yeah.
Before they get into a regular.
Fearful and uncomfortable, and that's not what it's supposed to be.
No, it's a tough situation. They're undercompensated. They're underappreciated, and I think I hope to think that things are changing for them.
Well, I hope it is too. And like I always say, everybody out there besides their own caregiver probably knows a nurse or a CNA. Or an LPN or whatever.
Oh, they're all nurses.
Yeah. Just say something nice to them today. Send them a text. Send them an email. Send them a card. Call them up on the phone.
Just thank them for their service, like you're a police officer or a fireman.
Right. But see, they don't have that badge. They don't have that uniform, really, unless they're in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So when you see them in the supermarket, you don't know it. When you see a military person in the supermarket, you can say, thank you for your service, because it's very obvious.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah. With a nurse, unless they're, let's just say, unless they're
Scrubs.
in a hospital, or whatever.
We're in scrubs, yeah.
So, yeah, really. But I'm saying personally, you all know, everybody knows one. Come on. Yeah, I don't care if it's the nurse in your doctor's office. Just say thank you to them, because what would we do without them? Right. And, I always feel, too, what goes around comes around.
That's good.
So you want to be really nice to people. I remember, your grandfather, my dad. My dad was a jokester. And he had a stroke, which is very sad because it took away a lot of his voice. I was like, Guy, why? God, why? You took that? And so he was also in the printing industry. So he used to print his cards on his jokes on little cards, and he would hand them out and I can't tell you how nice the people in the VA and the hospital and everything were to my dad, because he said thank you, because he had a good attitude.
I tried to put a smile on everybody's face.
Yeah. I remember one time, oh my God, my dad was having surgery. So I fly into New York. He's at, what's the hospital there by them? Well, whatever. So I'm at the hospital. So my dad's having surgery the next day. So that night the surgeon comes in to have a little visit with him. Now my dad's 6'1" and his wife's 4'11". Right?
Yeah, Heidi.
So Heidi goes, Doctor, I have the stool sample here for you that you wanted. The doctor goes, I don't ask for any stool sample. She goes, well, we have it. And you see my stepmother, she's so damn cute. Oh, we just have it here. We have it here. And so she opens up the drawer and she takes out a container like a stool sample would be. And when you open it up, there was a little wooden Barbie doll stool in there. Exactly. And the surgeon just started laughing. And my dad was like, you always want your surgeon to be happy. You know, it's a miserable guy doing the surgery.
That's funny.
But yeah, and so it's important that we appreciate our doctors, our nurses, our people that work with us, you know, whoever it is. And it's just important. And it's important to have a laugh. It's so important to have a laugh.
No, they're caregivers. Right?
Yeah.
And it's all about caregivers.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not an easy job. And you know what? Some people don't plan on being a caregiver. Most people don't plan on it. It either happens overnight because of a diagnosis or an accident or whatever, or it happens so damn slow they don't even know it. When I first tried to help caregivers, first I had to tell them who they were. Because they're like, I'm not a caregiver. I am the faithful spouse. Right. I am the good daughter. I am the friend. And I'm like, well, you do this. I said, well, yeah, you're a caregiver.
Yeah. Getting them out of bed, bathing them, cleaning them.
Watching their meds, going to the store for them. Yeah. You know, whatever it is. Just keeping an eye out. And you don't realize, and there are some people that are caregivers for a bunch of people. There are some people in senior communities and mobile home parks and everything. They have like these little committees because people need help. And that's the most important thing because, you know, through this whole COVID, everything, the isolation has been terrible. And I know I took a hit and just my personality and whatever and being out there during COVID, but I can recoup. They can't. Those people with Alzheimer's, with dementia, with Parkinson's or whatever, took a dive and they don't have that opportunity so much. So we need to take care of the caregivers so that they can continue to take care of their people because their journey has just become more difficult. You see it all the time, Michelle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll tie that into the staffing, the recruiting piece, right, is that, you know, even though a lot of these facilities are shorthanded, you know, in order to keep those nurses and that staff, you've got to make them feel valued and appreciated. Right. Because, you know, these type of people that nurses are feeling valued and appreciated, sometimes more important than even compensation.
Yeah.
Right. Because of their nature and who they are. And that's got to start at the top down. That's got to start at the C-suite. You know, they've got to be supporting, they've got to be communicating with that management level nurse, letting them know that they're supported, that they're appreciated, and that'll open up the bandwidth in that management level nurse to then go ahead and be there for the staff level nurses. And, you know, that appreciation, that goes a long way. You know, something as simple as making sure that your nurses get, you know, a card and a $10 or $20 gift certificate for birthdays or work anniversaries, right? Just that they're noticed and that you realize they're there.
Because it comes like a blur at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, little things like that, you know, go really far. And hey, you know, a lot of companies we talk to, you know, they want to talk about recruiting and I have to back them up and say, well, the first thing we have to have is a retention conversation, right? Because it doesn't matter how quickly we hire them. If they're, you know, leaving out the back door, then, you know, we're just chasing our tail. And so, you know, retention is usually the place where we start the conversation.
Because that's so important because, you know, and I'm very careful on who I align myself with. Because my caregivers are really vulnerable and they trust my word. And there's very few communities that I align myself with because I can't babysit them. They could be the best community in town and management changes, staff changes, and 6 months later, I don't want to send my dog there. But Arden Courts, which is one of my biggest sponsors, everybody that works there is there 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. I'm talking from the maintenance person, you know, to the director of nursing. Because they appreciate their employees.
Listen, I'll give a little shout out to one of my clients. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Westminster Communities.
We know them.
Locations here in St. Petersburg. We work heavily with locations in Bradenton and actually 24 campuses throughout the state. And they are a great company to work for and one of the easier companies to recruit for because at the end of the year, all of the residents get together and put money together. That's a Christmas bonus for all the employees.
Oh, nice.
Then the whole company puts together a corporate Christmas bonus for all the employees. And then they offer scholarships to the employees to either advance their education or advance their career. Yeah. And guess what? If that employee doesn't want to use it, they can gift it to a family member.
Like their kid or their nephew or their whatever.
Exactly. And so, you know, that's...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So, Westminster, one of the great organizations out there that we work with here locally, and they really do treat their employees the right way. And it's a differentiator. They're not experiencing the staffing problems. And they have independent living, they have assisted living, they have skilled nursing, they have home health, right? But they're not experiencing the same type of staffing issues at a time where a lot of these nurses could go other places and make more money, right, in the short term because they know they've got a company,
somebody that cares about
a facility, a group of people that appreciates what they do.
Yeah. So if a community wants to get in touch with you or someone that's or an RN or whatever, how do they do that?
Yeah, great. And so our website is acuityhealthcare.io, Acuity, ACUITY healthcare.io, Acuity like a high acuity patient. Or you can always send a resume to a resume.io at acuityhealthcare.io. And you can find us on the web. All our information is there. We're local here down in Sarasota, Florida. We do work nationally, but as I said, since this COVID pandemic has hit, we decided really to focus on our home state of Florida. It's where we have the most relationships. It's where we have the biggest base of nurses. And
we need to take care of our backyard.
That's it. I believe if we take care of ours and everybody else takes care of theirs, then we'd all be good taken care of.
Yeah, it's really important. It's just like I even say with charities, if I'm gonna donate money to a charity, it's gonna be somebody in my community. It's not gonna be a big whoop-de-doo place that maybe gets 2 cents per dollar and I don't know what's going on and I can't see.
Or other countries, right?
Has a office on Wall Street.
Yeah.
In a high rise.
Yeah. It's like, like a lot of people donate to the Cancer Society. I'm not saying anything against the Cancer Society, but I have a friend, Jane Moore Sweat, that has a nonprofit and it's Women with Purpose. And what they do is they help cancer patients with non-cancer needs. So your rent, your utilities, or your kids' school clothes, whatever it is. And every penny goes back. So I think we need to take care of our own backyards. We need to take care of where we live. We need to take care of our community. It's just like I tell my grandchildren, I've been in Kiwanis for like 15 years. And I tell my kids, service work is not an option. It's a responsibility because you live in this town and this is your town. And they go like, yeah, let's do it. My grandson Isaac volunteers with me. He's like, so when do I get a hat? I said, it took me 10 years to get a damn hat. He's like, well, I volunteered 4 times already. I said, good going.
Selfless service is, one of the great things you can talk about because there's probably not enough of that in communities today. And selfless service is one of the ways where you really get outside of yourself. You stop thinking about all your problems. You stop thinking about all the stressing things that you have going in your life because you're doing something for someone else. You're doing something that's outside of you. And, that's one of the ways I think that, we could probably, relieve some stress and anxiety from our lives is just by helping others.
Well, you know what? And you get to meet fabulous people. So this morning I cleaned the Pinellas Trail with my Kiwanis group, picking up garbage or whatever. But then people like biking by and they're like, thanks for doing that. And then somebody stops and they go, so what do you guys do? Why are you doing this?
And Linda handed out a business card to every single one of them. No.
Yeah, I did. I took their picture. Oh, they will get a card in the mail from me, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. But that's what it's about, building relationships. And that's why you hang out with those kind of people. I tell my grandchildren all the time, I only hang out with people that celebrate you. I'm only hanging out with people that celebrate me. It took me a long time to learn that. If I could have them learn it at a younger age, I think they'll be a little bit better. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's really
Distance
true.
yourself from the selfish ones.
No, that's right. But right now, we need to hear from our wonderful partners and sponsors because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you looking for compassionate and dependable home care for you or a loved one? Assisting Hands Home Care, serving Pinellas and Pasco counties, can help.
The day came that taking care of my mother was no longer the best thing for me or for her. Between kids and a job, I couldn't give her the attention she needed and deserved, and I was overwhelmed. So I reached out to Assisting Hands Home Care. Now I can see what an important decision that was, and I feel confident that my mother has compassionate and dependable caregivers who help her to stay happy, healthy, and home. Today, I'm able to visit with my mother and enjoy our time together, which is exactly what we both needed.
Assisting Hands Home Care. Call today for your free in-home consultation. In Pinellas, call 727-748-4211 or visit assistinghands.com. When you can't do it all, give Assisting Hands a call. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Everyone at one time or another experiences so much stress, physical, emotional, and mental, that their brain seems to freeze in place. Lauren McLaughlin has been an emotional support coach for over 25 years and was also a caregiver for her husband, John, for 10 years. Emotional support coaching for caregivers is all about having the freedom to say out loud, without fear of judgment or criticism, all the random thoughts that have gone in and out of your mind. Many caregivers receive enough help in one session to create their own healing plan. Others may want a bit more coaching, but Lauren McLaughlin has a maximum limit of 3 sessions. If you sincerely want to build a new future, that much coaching will be more than enough. All sessions are on Zoom for 45 minutes. Contact Lauren by email at godbless@tampabay.rr.com to set up an appointment for your caregiver support coaching session. Caregiver support sessions were previously priced at $45. They are now available to our listeners on a love offering basis. You decide what price you want to pay for your personal session.
I see trees of green.
Right into the guidance office.
I see them blue.
For me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, caregivers, now it's time for the caregiver affirmation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, sit down, close your eyes if possible, and just listen to these words. I know on my journey there is help and hope. I affirm that I am a good caregiver, that I try my best each day, and I recognize that I deserve to have my own needs met just as much as those for whom I care. I promise I will not allow myself to be consumed by my caregiving role, and I will set aside time in my busy schedule just for me. I am mindful of the other caregivers in my life, and I will let them know that I appreciate their efforts. I am grateful for the people that walk beside me. I will take good care of my own health physically and spiritually, drink enough water, eat quality foods, allow for time to rest and to exercise, laugh often, if only at myself, and seek medical attention for my own health concerns. I am who I am, and I allow others to be who they are. Today I will add one item to my assisting angels list. Then if someone calls to say, let me know if there's something I can do, I will be ready to accept their offer and provide them with the opportunity to assist me. It is an honor to be of service of others, and I will not deny my friends and family this honor. Okay, think about it, caregivers. So my goodness, one of my caregivers calls me the other day. She goes, oh, I keep listening to that affirmation. I keep listening about it. I don't know how anybody can help me. She said, I thought maybe I'll just sit down and really kind of think about it. And she said, well, my husband, who has dementia, wants to walk the dog like 5 times a day, 6 times a day, 7 times a day, she said, and I have to go with him because he'll get lost or whatever. She said, so I asked some of my neighbors that kept asking me what they could do to help me. Could they take a walk with him and the dog? She says, and now I have a team of like 8 walkers.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
They're like, well, just tell us when, just, send us a text, because she lives in a retirement community or whatever. So she's like, oh my goodness. She goes, and some of them took for like a walk for like 15 minutes. She goes, I took a shower and everything. I was like, cool. So really, because people want to help you if they know that you need help. And if you keep saying no to them, they're going to stop asking you because they're going to feel like they're stepping on your toes or something. But they're also going to be the same thing that happened with me is my mom passed away. I met a woman in the supermarket. She said, how you doing, Linda? I said, I'm doing okay. And she said, I'm sick of hearing that from you. She said, when I saw you swimming in quicksand, and every time I asked to help you, you said, no, I'm okay. She goes, and you didn't even give me the opportunity to really get to meet your mother. Ooh. So think about that. You know, maybe your neighbor just wants to spend some time with your loved one. Maybe your loved one wants to spend some time with somebody other than you. Because as much as we're the bomb caregiver, I think I'm being so nice, right, Lynn? So Tammy, I'm so glad that you're with us here today. We've actually met through the Seminole Chamber of Commerce, which is kind of cool. And you're from the Bobby White Foundation. So tell our listeners a little bit about what the Bobby White Foundation is.
Bobby White was my husband of nearly 30 years. And we lost him in April of 2016 to suicide. And so we started the foundation a couple of years later. We just turned 3 years old. We started our nonprofit in July of 2018 to help suicide loss survivors. Because when we found out that the journey that we were thrown into, there's a lot on the prevention side and easy information to get to, but after the fact, there's not, and there's not a lot of help, and you don't know what to do.
So you're already grieving, but now you're grieving with an extra added thing on top of there.
Yeah, because you don't know what to do. I was given a sheet of paper with a list of funeral homes on it. And I was telling Michelle earlier, a sheriff knelt down in front of me and said to me, I patrol this area all the time. You know, if you ever need anything, you know, please, you know, reach out and I'll be here in a minute. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And I'd been in business in the community for 25 years. So my natural instinct was, do you have a card?
Exactly.
You know, I need a name and a phone number.
Right.
Who am I going to reach out to? And I just remember him looking up at me and pointing to his name on his shirt and said, no, this is my name. And I just remember.
First of all, at that point, could you even read his name? Because I think I might see Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I have no idea. Because
Oh, blur.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I was dumbfounded, really, because, you know, I'm in shock. And I just remember looking at him, thinking to myself, I just found my husband hanging from a tree 4 hours ago, and you expect me to remember your name?
Yeah.
He got up and walked away, and to this day, I can't tell you what he looked like, what his name was. And I want to this isn't just a problem in our community. This is across the nation.
Yeah.
This happens.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable conversation.
Well, it is. And they don't, you know, they deal with this all the time. We don't.
Yeah, right.
And, you know,
That's a good way to look at it.
The victims advocates, they left, never had any contact after that. Later that night, I was looking for something. You know, just anything. And I noticed that my husband's driver's license was gone and was taken out of his wallet. And I looked for like 5 days and I thought, well, maybe it was on him, you know, blah, blah, blah. But he always kept it in his wallet, in his lunchbox when he wasn't at work. So finally, 5 days later, I called the victims advocates because I haven't heard from anybody. And I'm like, you know, my husband's driver's license missing. Can you see if you can find out if you guys took it or, you know, whatever.
Put it somewhere or whatever.
Yeah. And so she said, I will. I'll give you a call right back. So she did. She called me back about 15 minutes later. But just very matter-of-factly told me that, yes, the sheriff's office took it. No, you will not be getting it back. It was sent to Tallahassee. And she couldn't tell me why. And that was the end of the
Have a nice day.
Yeah. And that was it. And I never heard from anybody ever again.
And you know what? And no one can know something that can be so important as just that driver's license.
Exactly.
With his photo on it.
And
that he carried around every day. That
and to this day, even other officers don't understand why they took his license and why it was sent to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to them. But like I said, there was just nothing. I didn't even know that we had a local chapter for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention until 5 or 6 months later when I saw on Facebook they were having an Out of the Darkness walk. I couldn't attend because 3 months after my husband died, I severely broke my left leg.
Oh.
So I couldn't walk. But so that's why we started the foundation. It was because of our experience.
So give me some statistics in this area.
Well, in Pasco County, we only have statistics to 2019, which is really also, that's one thing that's frustrating, that it takes so long to get the previous year's statistics.
And 2020 is probably going to be all skewed too.
2020 is going to be, it's going to be more.
Our suicides have increased significantly.
They have increased, and they've increased in the younger generation, you know, the kids. Healthcare, you know, right after when the pandemic was full swing, there was a very prominent doctor in New York City. She had COVID, she recovered, she treated patients, and she just couldn't do it no more.
Yeah.
But in Pasco County, in 2018 and 19, we had 119 suicides.
That's just in Pasco.
Just in Pasco. Now, Pinellas and Hillsborough, your rates are double.
I was just going to say they're a lot higher in Pinellas.
Yeah, and Hillsborough and Pasco, or Hillsborough and Pinellas, are sometimes like pretty much real close. But it's double what Pasco is. And our demographics, it is typically more white males, 45 to 55 and older, are the ones taking their lives. Wow. Now, we did have an increase in teen suicide, and that's what you hear most often is teen suicide.
Right.
But our teen suicide, I mean, one is too many, but our teen suicide rate is extremely low. We've been going between 1 and 4.
Well, I think there are some options for teens today because they talk about it more, because there was more teen suicide. So I think there are programs, but I think for that middle-aged man, that's the breadwinner, that's this, and like, where do I turn? What? It's not like...
Well, and we're not taught, especially men, taught to talk about what's wrong with them, what's going on.
Because nobody really wants to hear. When they ask, how are you doing, they don't want to hear.
Yeah. Well, my husband, he was 62, and but he had multiple sclerosis for 25 years. You wouldn't have known if you didn't know him. You wouldn't have known.
But he sure as heck knew it.
But he did. He had a major exacerbation the fall before he passed away. And it took us a lot longer to get him back on track. But maybe we never did.
Yeah.
And he didn't let us know. But that wasn't the only cause. And that's another thing. Suicide is very complicated.
Yeah, it's not one-dimensional.
One suicide, on the average, affects 139 to 147 people.
Wow.
And out of those people, every time, they're at a 400 times greater risk for suicide than the public.
Does it run in families?
It can. Ironically,
we've had some suicides in my family, from some cousins and some different things, but I wonder.
Well,
I always thought about that.
It's because that's the reason why that's the loss survivor. But like in my family, my husband's brother attempted suicide 2 years prior to my husband.
Okay.
But we didn't know. They didn't tell us.
Well, it's not something like, oh, let me just call up my sister and tell her that my husband tried to commit suicide.
Well, he had been committed to Haley. The sisters, my husband had 2 sisters
So he
and
was a veteran.
brother. Sorry, yes.
I was going to say to go to Haley, he has to be a veteran.
He was a veteran, but
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, so I called his wife when my husband wouldn't go visit him because he tends to be very melodramatic on things. And so I called his wife before he was being released because I was concerned.
Right.
And I asked her, I said, would, Jay ever hurt himself
doing that, right.
intentionally? And she said, "Oh no, Tammy, he would never do anything like that." So she lied to me. And 5 months.
Or was in denial.
Yeah. Well, but this is another thing too. Many years prior to that, she lost her first husband to suicide.
So she couldn't cope.
Who
with
left her with 5 young children.
Yeah, that's gotta be
but to
tough.
not even tell his own brother.
Well, especially when the question was asked.
Exactly. So it was 5 months later. I'm standing in my kitchen on my crutches, and my husband's younger sister was there, and I asked her. I said, when he was,
sometimes you gotta come straight to it.
I said, "Is that the reason why?" And she said, "Yes, that was." And she told me what had happened, and I'm like, now, whether or not having that information would have made a difference,
you don't know.
I don't know, but we never got that opportunity either.
Right. So what does the foundation do?
Our foundation is really to help educate people, to help reduce the stigma. It's a huge stigma when it comes to suicide. People don't like to talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, it's like something like a dirty word, something kind of.
And I noticed that when I started speaking publicly, when people found out what I was talking about, I can actually see the demeanor in their faces change and the energy in the room change.
Yeah.
So our first program, we partnered originally with Central Florida Children's and Family Systems of Care. And we worked for almost 3 years to put together our Purple Folder program. This is our first program that we did. And it's just a packet full of information to give. The idea is to give it to suicide loss survivors as soon after a suicide as possible.
So how do you find those people?
Well, we have community partners in Pasco County that have the folders available. People know me.
So I'm thinking, like, if you wanted to take a supply like to certain funeral homes, they're gonna maybe know the people that.
Well, we have a funeral home in Pasco who did have them. They're probably gone down. They've changed management, so I don't know. Newport Richey Police Department, Port Richey Police Department.
That's a fabulous place
Dade
to have
City
them.
Police Department. We really want to
They're going to be on the scene,
right? But we really want to get them into the Sheriff's Department, because in the Sheriff's Department is county, and they handle the majority of the suicides in our county.
Makes sense.
But at least they have started to refer people to us, so that they'll call us and we'll get them the information. They may not be ready for it at that time, but at least they have something.
Yeah.
We had nothing.
Right.
You know.
What about suicide in seniors?
Well, like the statistics I told you earlier, in Pasco County, the majority of them are the older, 55 and older. And seniors, it's very prevalent. A lot of it is because, such as my husband, he had an
disease
illness
for so long. Yeah.
And that's, they get sick and can't deal with it or don't want to deal with it.
I think there's probably some seniors that
suicides.
commit suicide and people don't even know they committed suicide.
Mhm.
They just take some more pills or whatever and they go to sleep a little earlier. And I think that's a different kind of suicide. That's a suicide and I don't know because I know nothing about this, but that's a suicide like, I'm so frustrated. I guess every suicide is like that, but it's different than a young person.
Well, not to the people who love that person.
You want to say something? Who lost them.
I mean, someone in that situation that you just described might feel like they're a burden, right?
And that is a
common
huge thing.
feeling for
I'm
people.
never going to get better.
Right.
Well,
I'm a
and-
burden to the people around me. They're better off without me here.
And
These are
that was
lies
the
that they
case
tell
with my
themselves.
husband too.
Yeah.
Because my husband had made comments like that before.
Well, I think even though when my son-in-law, it was the last month's conversations was, I'm not good for anybody. Well, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
such a sad thing though.
It's not something you want to spend the rest of your life living with, but we do. But we do.
On that breath, it's time to hear from our wonderful partners. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk, entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week. And did you know they got the Reader's Choice Award for 2019 for the best chiropractic in Pinellas County? So check them out. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming, with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
And we're off. You know what that means. You're supposed to get your pen and paper because Michelle's got good things to tell you, right, Michelle?
Absolutely. So some support groups you can sign up to participate in. Debbie Savage is at www.coping.today. Dr. Kate McCarty is at www.katemccarty.com. The Center for Caregivers is at support.com. And for Parkinson's, it is www.neurochallenge.org.
And all of them are going to be part of my conference.
What conference?
The Connecting Caregivers Conference, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Nice. I'm already signed up.
I know.
And the cost of that was pretty steep.
Yeah, free.
Absolutely no excuse.
Thank you to my sponsors and partners.
Yes. Sages is putting on their Plays with Purpose. Phony baloney. Don't get scammed. Tomorrow, August 29th, 2 p.m. in St. Pete. For more information and tickets, go to www.sagestheater.org. Tam Cummings is presenting on behalf of Arden Court September 2nd at 11 o'clock. Pain and other assessments in persons with dementia. Go to their website to sign up for the link.
She's fabulous. She's our keynote speaker.
Yep, she's amazing.
Yes, she is.
Grief support with Grace Terry via Zoom every Tuesday at noon. If you're interested, contact Linda through her website, www.lindaburhans.com, and she'll get you that link. Who's interested in a health and wellness expo? This coming up Thursday, September 16th from 9 to 1 at the Sunshine Center in St. Pete on 5th Street North. There's going to be 50 vendors, samples, workshops, live entertainment. Visit that. October 16th is the LGBTQ Senior Resource Fair at the Golf Course Senior Center. Go to their website for more information. And there is a virtual dementia education series on Montessori-inspired lifestyle that's sponsored by the Palms. Go to or call 727-437-1350, and they will get you signed up. Most important conference on here, in my opinion, the Connecting Caregivers Conference. Free, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th by Zoom.
And we'll have Tam Cummings, we'll have the Parkinson's Foundation, we'll have attorney Stephanie Edwards, we'll have medical marijuana, we'll have
Wait, you're giving away American?
No.
So now
It's
he's
virtual.
signing out. Yeah. You'll get
That
a
might get a
contact
live
tie.
event.
Yes. For the contact tie. Exactly.
And we have Dr. Kate McCarty and Dr. David Bernstein. And every day at lunchtime, we're going to have either yoga or meditation or EFT. And we're going to have adaptive equipment doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I love that everything will be live. Everybody will receive a link. But also everything will be recorded, because I really don't expect somebody to sit there for 19 hours or 3 days and watch everything. But that's the good part about it. Or when you come to the conference and you say this particular part of the conference was really resonated with me, then you can send it to your sister or whoever to look at it and to, just share that information.
What a great gift to caregivers, though, for free. Seriously.
Yeah.
That is a gift.
Well, there is you'll see on the registration page, there's also a donate button, and anybody that donates, not that you have to, the money will go towards future conferences, but the main thing is I'll be setting up a respite care fund for caregivers that cannot afford respite care, which would be so fabulous. I had a caregiver on the support group a couple of weeks ago. She takes care of her granddaughter who's disabled and both of her parents, and there's no one else in the family. And she can't even think of 5 minutes anywhere they have no money. If I could just call her up and say, you know what, somebody's going to come Tuesday morning from 10 to 2. You have no choice. They're coming. And, and then like different businesses said to me, we'll donate a massage or a haircut or something. That could really make a difference for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's really exciting. All right. So, Tammy, what's the last thing you want our caregivers to hear today?
Just listen. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Wouldn't you, if you have somebody that, something is just not, you don't think's right, ask the hard questions. Be direct. Don't, beat around the bush. Are you thinking of taking your life? Wouldn't you rather have that person mad at you for thinking that than having to go to their funeral?
And all right. And then give us one more tip after the fact.
Take care of yourself, reach out. You're not alone.
And the people that are hanging out around you, what should they do to help you?
Well, we have, just listen. If you hear of somebody that has taken their lives, get in contact with me. That's what we have these purple folders for. We have our fundraiser this year, of course, is virtual. So it runs from September 1st to November 20th. It'll be online, Facebook. We're having September 9th a Facebook Live jewelry sale. We're going to do a painting with a purpose in October. We have, we're starting to, we just moved our TV station. We have Hope in the Light of Suicide, which
Well, you send me all that information for all that stuff. I will include it. We'll include it in our, I'll put it on my website.
Yeah, we've really got a lot going on starting next week when we start taping again with WeBeam TV. We have a big new studio in Gulf Square Mall, and it's really
we'll come
gonna be
see
cool.
you there and spread the word through Rotary and Kiwanis.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, definitely. I'm available to talk anywhere at any time.
Thank you.
So thank you for inviting
Robert.
me.
What's the question?
What's up? What's the last thing you want to tell our listeners, or ask our listeners, or what do they need to hear?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, be grateful and thankful for our caregivers out there and nurses, doctors, healthcare workers. They are our frontline caregivers. So be appreciative. And as far as employers of those people, recruiting starts with retention, making them feel valued and appreciated. And then that really, it can be done with, such minor expense and just with such, little effort. But Acuity Healthcare, we can help any organization, senior living, home health, hospice, hospital systems. helping throughout the state of Florida with staffing and recruiting. AcuityHealthcare.io.
Good. And Robert's one of the sponsors of our conference too. You'll see his little logo scrolling across the bottom.
Nice.
Thank you so much for tuning in today, caregivers. I know how valuable your time is. You just don't have an hour to sit around and listen to me yak. But no, you can listen to it whenever you want. There's always many places around the table for new caregivers. Please do something nice for yourself. Please sit down and talk to your loved one. Try to have the opportunity sometime in the next day or two to be the daughter or the spouse, not the caregiver, to just sit down and spend some time with them. Remember, God loves you all the time. We'll see you next week, and have a delicious day.
Take your soul if you let them. Oh, yeah, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh, baby, don't you know about winter, spring, summer, or fall? Hey, now all you've got to do is call. Lord, I'll be there, yes, I will. You've got a friend.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Allison Keyes in Washington. President Biden is being briefed on